Welcome back to Code Dev Pay Academy. In our previous lesson, we introduced Microsoft Word, explored its interface, and learned about the different tabs on the ribbon. Now that you are familiar with the workspace, it's time to take the next step, formatting documents. Formatting is all about adding visual touches to a document to make it easier to read and look more appealing. The tools used for formatting can be found on the Home tab. The Home tab is found on the ribbon in MS Word. Formatting is what makes a document look polished, organized, and easy to read. In this lesson, we'll cover 4 main areas. 1. Character formatting, how individual text characters appear. 2. Paragraph formatting, how text is arranged. 3. Page formatting, how the page is set up. 4. Section formatting, how to divide your document for better organization. Let's dive in. Character formatting. First, let's talk about character formatting, which controls the appearance of individual letters, numbers, and symbols in your text. Font type. Choose a font that suits your document's purpose, e.g., Arial for business, Times New Roman for formal writing. Font size. Adjust text size based on importance, larger for headings, smaller for body text. Bold, italic, and underline. Use these to emphasize key points. Font color and highlighting. Apply colors or highlights to make important text stand out. Subscript and superscript. Format text below or above the baseline. Strike through and small caps. Apply effects like crossing out text or making lowercase letters appear in uppercase. Okay, so here I've got some text just typed in telephone number in the word cell phone, an hour. Main area that we are gonna be looking at is under the Home tab. We are gonna be looking at the font category over here. And our paragraph category, because this deals with a lot of formatting. So first things first, well, what is formatting? If I say I'm gonna be formatting my text, it means, and you can see when I highlight it here what happens. It brings up all these same options that are over here. Which means I can change the color. I can change the size. I can change the font types a year. I can change the font type. Next to it I can go and change the font size. These 2 icons here indicate that I can increase the size of the font. And I can decrease it. This one allows me to change the case, in other words changing it from uppercase, which is capital letters, to a lowercase, or to a sentence case where obviously, you have capital letters at the beginning of a sentence. But they give you a number of different options, even this toggle case right. Then next to that you can see. I can go and erase what I've done in terms of the formatting. Okay. I can clear all the formatting, so this is why, when we talk about formatting text, all of these things I do over here can be undone. I can go under italic, I can go underline. And if I'm not happy with all of that and I've made a mistake, I can just click here and clear all of that formatting. I can change the color of the text as well. Let me just make that a bit bigger. I can highlight it, okay. And I can draw like a line through it. And I can, change a number of. Sorry, I need to actually highlight it. Draw a line through it. I can, put in different types of formatting. But this is generally where I'll do that. And again, if I don't want any of it, I clear the formatting. And you can see that highlighting does not format the text itself, okay. Highlighting just highlights that particular word or phrase or paragraph. But it doesn't influence the formatting of the actual text. Okay, so when we talk about basic text formatting, that is what we're referring to, and that is how your text gets changed. Paragraph formatting. Next, let's look at paragraph formatting, which controls text alignment, spacing, and structure. Text alignment. Align text to the left, center, right, or justify for a clean look. Line spacing. Adjust spacing between lines, 1.0 for compact text, 1.5 or 2.0 for readability. Indentation. Use first line indents or hanging indents for structured paragraphs. Bullets and numbering. Organize lists clearly with bullets for unordered lists and numbers for step-by-step instructions. We are gonna be looking at paragraph formatting. So for the purpose of this lesson, I'm just activating on my paragraph markings. I just want to move this down. Move that over there, you can see that is one paragraph on its own. So when we talk about paragraph formatting, please let's break up the word. We're looking at one particular paragraph, and we want to change the formatting. You know, things like bold, underline, the color, the font type, the font size, just for that specific paragraph, okay? So the first thing we're gonna do is just highlight the paragraph in question. Highlight whichever paragraph you want to actually change from there. We can go up. We can go and say we want to make it bold. We want to change, wow, that's a bit much, the font or type. We want to change the font size as well. We even want to change the font color. Now that's all well and good, and that's fine. But they might ask us to do a little more than that. One of the things they usually ask us when it comes to tests relating to this is to insert borders. So in order to do that, we need to go to a paragraph section. This little arrow over here. We want to make sure that our line spacing. You know, all those things are fine if they don't ask you to do that. That's okay, but I'm just showing you where that is. And then we go up here to our borders. So if I look at my little down arrow, I go down to borders and shading. And here you can see I've got 3 tabs. My borders, my page border, and my shading. So with my borders, I can apply a particular border. Now the border will apply to what I say it needs to apply to. So I'm gonna use a shadow border. I'm gonna use any style over here. I'm even gonna change the color. And I'm gonna make it nice and thick so you can see it. And here's a preview of it. Now if I apply this to this paragraph, it's gonna come out looking like a square, okay? But if I click on those items over there, you can see I can erase where the border is going to be. Which means it'll only reflect on the top and the bottom. And then importantly, what do I apply it to? Do I apply it to the text or to the paragraph? Well, I wanted to apply it to the paragraph because I'm talking about paragraph formatting. I click OK, and there you can see my entire paragraph has now been formatted again. I can go and change the alignment. Like I said, I can go here, I can go and fiddle with some of the spacing as well, you know. Things like that, but you need to highlight your paragraph first before you try to apply any of these things. And you can see as I go through the document. Page formatting. Now, let's move to page formatting, which affects the entire document's layout. Margins. Adjust the blank spaces around the text, normal, narrow, wide, or custom. Page orientation. Choose portrait, vertical, or landscape, horizontal. Page size. Standard sizes include A4, letter, and legal, but you can adjust as needed. We are going to quickly look at basic page layout. So these are things that are usually asked in the tests. And these are the basic things that they start off with. So here we've got our Word document and we go to the Layout tab. So your basic page layout we're talking about are these things over here. Looking at your margins, your orientation, and your size. What size does the document have to be here? We can go and set it according to what we need it to be. Maybe you need it to be something else. You'll click on More Page Sizes, and this is where you will choose these options again, depending on what they want you to do right. But this is where you go and change again, layout and page size. In the page orientation you can flip it from portrait to landscape. Okay, this is where you would do that. And then the one that always comes up as well is how to change the margin. So you can see here when I go to margins, there are a number of default margins in place. So I can click on narrow, I can select wide. You can see how it changes. But if it's something more customized, I'll have to go down to custom margins. Click over there and then type in whatever I need. You obviously need to make sure that this is in your particular region's measurement specifications. So in South Africa it's centimeters. In America it'll be inches, because that has a big impact on what you see here. And then you can see I can obviously apply that to the entire document, to a particular page. You know all those type of things, but when we talk about the basic page layout, these are your 3 main things. We look at the margins, the orientation, and the size. Section formatting. Finally, let's discuss section formatting. This helps you organize different parts of your document with unique layouts. Section breaks. Divide your document into sections to apply different formatting to each. Different headers and footers. Use sections to change headers or footers for different pages. Different page numbering. Restart page numbering in different sections, e.g., Roman numerals for an introduction and numbers for the main content. We are going to be looking at how to manipulate line and page breaks. Now, before we do anything, let's just look at a few of the options that we have. So when we go to the Home tab and we go to our paragraph section, and we click in that little over there, we come up to the paragraph options, so you can see we have our one tab for indent and spacing, but we are not too worried about that. We're looking at line and page breaks. When I click on that, you can see that we have a number of options. So I just quickly want to go through these options so that you understand exactly what each one of them does. Before we go on to our exercise in doing this practically. So first things first, the window/open control. When this option is selected, it prevents a single line of a paragraph from appearing on a page other than that on which the rest of the paragraph is located. In other words, if I put that there, if I put my tick in there, it will mean that my paragraph won't have like a piece of the paragraph dangling over onto the next page, right? If I select keep with next, when this option is selected, it prevents one paragraph from being separated from the next. The paragraph will thus always remain together with the following paragraph on the same page. When we use keep lines together, this option keeps all the lines in the same paragraph together on one page, so the paragraph won't break over two pages. And then page break before, when this option is exercised, the specified paragraph will always appear at the top of a new page, irrespective of whether the previous page is filled or not. Remember what our page break does. When we put in a page break, it breaks that page and moves everything to the top of a new page. So now that we've looked at that, we have a good understanding around that. Let's look at our example for today. So this is our practice doc. Number 1 from your grade 12 textbook. This is from module 3.2. So the first thing I want us to do is scroll through the whole document and note how the paragraphs at the bottom of the pages are broken. Let's have a look at this. We can see we have headings. There's our one paragraph moving. Here we go, so this one's fine. But with our third heading, look what's happening. We've got one line of the paragraph there. The rest is over on the new page. Scroll down. Oh, here's another one again. Okay. With our fourth heading, let's scroll through and oh, here we go. Here's another one. Okay. So now we can see that we have 3 of these over here. So the first thing they want us to do is select the entire document. Remember, we can do that quickly by just hitting Control and on our keyboard. And they want us to apply the window/orphan option. So where do we go? Remember, Home tab, paragraph. A little arrow over there. And we want to say window/orphan control. Let's just see if that's everything they want us to do. They want us to apply this. Observe that nowhere in the document does a single line of a long paragraph now appear at the top or bottom of a page. So let's tick that. Let's say OK, and then let's scroll through our document again. Everything is fine there. OK, so that one line is moved over to the next. Not ideal, because your heading is on one page and your paragraph is on the next. It's done exactly the same. You can see. So remember what we said with window. Often it's not gonna leave one line of text on one page and the rest of the paragraph on the other. However, it has left the heading and you can see what it's done here as well. Okay. So we've done that. It's not ideal, but let's see what they want us to do now. They want us to select all the paragraph headings and choose keep with next, right? So we are gonna choose our paragraph headings. Let's go up to the top. Remember, we can do this with our control button. So we'll highlight and use control. Let me just go to the top. I'll head in. So there's the first one. Keep control down, select the second one. Okay, going through. And our appendix. Okay, so we've done that, and what do they want us to do? They want us now to choose keep with text. So again, home paragraph options, keep with next, and we're going to click. Okay. Alright, now let's go to the top of our document. Let's have a look. Okay, so there's the first change that we see. Our heading has moved down to the paragraph. Just here that there's a problem, but everything else here looks fine. Okay, so that's the next one. A second last one. They say select a line introducing the bullet list on page 3. So it would be this one over here. What do they want us to do with this? Together with the first 3 bulleted items, and again choose keep with next. So they want me to highlight this over here. So up to my section keep with next, and if I click OK, boom. You see what it's done? It's moved everything. I'm on to the next page and kept everything together. Unless I select the last paragraph heading appendix and choose the page break before option. So I'm gonna go with page break before and click OK. And you'll see what that does. This is what the page break does. Let me go back up here. Remember, appendix was over here, so it's cut all of that. It's basically ended the page there and moved everything to the top of the next page. So this is how we manipulate line and page breaks. Great job! Today, we covered 4 essential formatting techniques. Character formatting, changing fonts, sizes, colors, and text effects. Paragraph formatting, aligning text, adjusting spacing, and adding lists. Page formatting, adjusting margins, orientation, and page sizes. Section formatting, using section breaks to apply different styles within a document. Now, take some time to practice these formatting techniques. In our next lesson, we'll look at how to work with shapes, pictures, and tables in our documents. See you next time.